So we know there's more people out there than ever before with more motivations than ever before to attack us. The great news is we've got plenty of security tools to fight them off. As you know, in a Windows system, there is built-in antivirus and anti-malware software. It's called Windows Defender. It's not the greatest at catching stuff, at least that I've seen. Notice you would better keep the definitions updated if you're going to have luck with this product. I think there are more powerful products, obviously, but I wanted to bring this up because it might be in your exam, and it is built in and free on Windows, as I said. Notice sometimes you will see a distinction between software packages as far as antivirus versus anti-malware. Most these days, like this product, are going to bill themselves as both. Many times, I think you're going to have better luck if you know the type of infection you have and you get a very specific product to clean that up. For instance, if it was spyware running on the system, I've had great luck with Super Anti-Spyware. Notice this is very targeted towards certain categories of malware. This will typically catch those that the more generalized products can't. Here you can see I've dropped down to a terminal, a command prompt in Windows. This would be a terminal on the Mac or on a Linux system, and we're executing some commands. This is the task list command, and we find ourselves often fighting malware from the command line. This is typically because there's tools here that are very specialized, and maybe we're so sickly with the machine, we can't run effectively the graphical user interface tools. Now, oftentimes we will need to drop out to that Windows pre-installation environment, and we'll need to run tools that are in the system recovery. Maybe it's a startup repair because our malware attacked the startup files, or maybe we have to do a system restore to an earlier point of time before the virus attack. We might even have to do a system image recovery if we really had a bad virus attack that went after Windows. And of course, as we mentioned a moment ago, there's the command prompt here that we could access to run special tools. There are a couple of other tools that might not necessarily be removing our malware problem, but that are going to really assist us in making sure it is malware to begin with and ensuring that we successfully uninstalled it. Don't forget about your Windows Event Viewer. This is going to be a really easy way that you can look at powerful logging information that will give clues to the status of the system. Now again, if things have gotten really bad, you may have to do a refresh, a reset, or a restoring of the PC. Remember how these options are tucked right into Windows 8 or Windows 10 for us now. So it's very, very simple to do a refresh and keep your settings, or really a reset, a reinstallation of Windows. This is going to be made easy by these tools that we've seen that are built in. And if we're fighting tricky malware, the msconfig utility can become very useful for us, especially the ability to boot the system with specific logging options and things of that nature. Of course, we can initiate a safe boot from here. These are the types of tools that are required when it's really nasty malware infections. Okay, so let's have some fun now. Here I am on my Windows 10 machine. I have never had antivirus or anti-malware ever on this system. I have never done a scan. I told you that's how I operate with this CBT nugget making system because, of course, I know how to avoid viruses and I don't want any antivirus or anti-malware software to affect the performance of my machine. So never had protection on this device. And I'm running Windows Defender. As you can see, I updated Windows Defender, and let's see if I have anything that it picks up as problematic. You'll notice also that I'm doing a quick scan because the more thorough scan would take way too long, and this machine that we're on is performing brilliantly, so I really don't think I have any malware issues. We don't have browser redirection going on, we don't have pop-ups going on, we don't have impeded performance going on, we don't have applications crashing. All of those symptoms that we discussed that would indicate I have malware, none of those are in existence here, so the quick scan should be just fine. All right, so great news. That finished up. We had, my goodness, what is that? 154,000 items that were scanned. Great. Our PCs being monitored and protected. That's wonderful. And I had no virus stuff that we have to worry about. Cool. So now what I've done is I've downloaded that program I mentioned, Super Anti-Spyware, and I've run it. And to be fair, with Windows Defender, I did a quick scan. So I did the equivalent scan in their technology. By the way, I'm certainly not trying to sell you super anti-spyware. You know that, right? I'm just bringing this up as one of many, many great products that are out there. So anyways, notice what happened here. The quick scan ran here, and there's a coupon printer on my system. That's unbelievable. I'm in shock about this, really. So yeah, I don't want this thing on my device. Now, I don't think it's running, and that's why I've never seen a pop-up related to this thing or anything like that. It's just, again, as it says here, a potentially unwanted program. I definitely don't want it. So I would imagine, yeah, look at this. I can uninstall or I can trust. So I'm going to uninstall. And now this is really cool. It checked for that unwanted program before continuing with its quick scan. So now we're actually getting the quick scan. Now, don't panic. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to do this demonstration for you. I knew this would happen. Notice it's looking at cookies, and I don't care about cookies. I'm not paranoid about that information being tracked as I browse. No big deal for me. So I've never eliminated cookies. So notice it's finding a ton of tracking cookies. And if you didn't have education about this kind of stuff, you would think, oh my goodness, look at this. I've got over 3,000 detected threats already on this system. But of course, these I am aware of, and it's no big deal to me. So it finished up. It detected 4,041 threats, but we know those are cookie related. I'm going to say okay, and I'm going to say, you know what? Might as well. Let's go ahead and continue, and that means we'll clean up those cookies. So while I don't really care about them that much, I'm not paranoid about that kind of stuff on this system, I am going to clean them up right now. Yeah, why not? And it's a very impressive program, as you've seen. This does a good job, too, with browser redirection stuff and other forms of malware. So it's a decent product for you to use in your arsenal of tools that we looked at in this nugget. Well, you always comment that you love the pop quizzes, so let's do a pop quiz. What tool would you use to selectively boot the system? Would that be Event Viewer? Would it be regedit? Would it be regserve 32 or would it be msconfig? Okay, now I got to admit, I put this here on purpose. This was a tool that I forgot to cover when we were talking about troubleshooting tools. Yeah, it was tucked in with regedit and I forgot to talk about it. So let's conquer it now. It is a tool that you would use to register and install system files like DLLs, dynamic link library files. It is so rare you have to use that tool. I have never in my career had to use the reg SVR32 tool, but please keep in mind that's what it's for. It's for replacing manually or installing and registering certain system files. So this doesn't have to do with booting. We know regedit doesn't have to do with booting. Event Viewer shows us stuff that's happening while we boot, but it's msconfig that gives us those very distinct options for booting our system, and it's one of the reasons we absolutely cherish that tool. So in this nugget, we took a look at some of the tools that we would use in security breach type situations. And we know there's plenty of malware, adware, ransomware, all kinds of bad wares that we may have to deal with. So it's great that we have such a robust tool set. Also in this nugget, we eliminated 4,000 plus cookies from my machine. How nice. So I sure hope this nugget was informative for you, and I'd like to thank you for viewing.